Okay, so my method for rehydrating the Go-Ferm and using the D47 yeast is going to be right off of the Scott Labs website. So that's what I'm going to do. They do want it in 20 times its weight of clean 43 degrees Celsius water. I'm going to probably end up using just a tad more than that, just because the quantities already are so small. So I'll end up using 1 cup of water. But I'm going to put it in a 2-cup measure just so when I start adding the must in there to get the temperature down to kind of closer to where my actual primary juice is, it's not going to shock that yeast. For a temperature probe, I just happen to have a cooking thermometer. So I'll get this thing up on the phone, clean everything up here, and we'll get that started. There's my 1 cup of water in a 2-cup measure, leaving room for that must later on. We're going to microwave this thing up and get it up to temperature. And then I'm just going to let it cool down to 43 degrees Celsius before I start adding the Go-Ferm. Now, if you want to see how this wine ends up turning out using the Go-Ferm and changing the yeast, I'll leave a card at the top and you can see this whole kit start to finish. When this video comes out, that card isn't going to be live because I just started that primary and it's going to take some time to let that all work its way through. So as you can see right now, it is just plain too hot. So I'm going to wait till this hits the 43 degrees internal temperature before the Go-Ferm goes in there. Okay, so for my batch today, I'm using 5 gallons of must or wine mixture, which is one of these packets. Now, according to Go-Ferm's website, it says for every 1 part of this, I need 1.25 parts of the Go-Ferm. So I need to measure out 6.25 grams, somewhere in that vicinity for my Go-Ferm. So I'll do that while I'm waiting for my water to cool off. Now I'm still waiting for this water to cool off, and I wasn't super confident in that measure. So I do have a different scale that I use for measuring grow that's a little more accurate. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to tear this one and get that in here and see if I can get a little closer. Yeah, I kind of figured that was a little bit much. There we go. I'm much more confident in that being an accurate unit of measure. 6.25 would be perfect, but I'm okay with 6.5. I'd say that looks very much like a tablespoon for those of you that are going to replicate this with a little scale. For those of you that want to follow that Go-Ferm instruction exactly, 6.5 grams of Go-Ferm, they want that mixed into 20 parts of water, or 20 times that many parts of water, which is about 130 grams. That's equal to about half a cup if you want to be right on the money with everything. All right, so as you can see, my water just hit 43 degrees. So it's time to add my Go-Ferm and stir that all in. If you want to learn more about this little meat thermometer, it's actually on my other channel. I'll leave a link to that card. Now I just need to wait till it cools down to 40 degrees before I add my yeast. All right, so it looks like we hit 40 degrees. It is time to pitch our yeast and get that in there. Gonna just give this a very light stir, nothing crazy, and leave the temperature probe in. Okay, so now we just need to leave it undisturbed for 20 minutes. I'll set that timer and we'll see how it's doing. I'm just gonna cover it up with a cloth too, just to make sure nothing gets in there. Okay, so my 20 minutes is up. We'll kind of give it a light stir. I'm gonna fill this measuring cup up with must. I'm just going to keep doing that about every minute or so. Just give it a little dose of the juice and until this is gone. Taking about a total time of 5 minutes. This kind of has a bread-like smell. It smells really good, actually. Both the yeast and the must. This is, I'm hoping it's going to turn out as good, or any fraction of as good as it smells right now. The reason I keep covering this up too is A, for fruit flies. I think I've got them all out in the house. I don't think I have any more of them. But I just don't want anything else falling in there that shouldn't already be in there. I'm going to let this mixture sit now for 5 minutes before it goes into the wine, provided the temperature is close enough. My temperature right now for this mixture is 28 degrees, so I'll check the must and we'll see where we're at there. Okay, so another 5 minutes has gone by for the Go-Ferm and that yeast solution with the must. So I'll get my spoon into the solution. I'll give my primary a good stir up, and then we're going to mix the yeast in. So there's my yeast solution. And it is within 5 to 10 degrees of the must. So give it a little swoosh. Make sure I get everything in there. And because this thing was clean, I don't mind giving it a rinse. Just a gentle stir here, nothing vigorous. And that is it. Now my lid can go on here as well. And it's going to go into, or on top of, this floor, just around the corner. And we'll let it start to ferment.